Your Shih Tzu has been secretly deciding who deserves their loyalty since the moment they entered your home. And centuries of royal breeding mean it's not always who you think. Modern science now shows their devotion is rooted in hardwired brain chemistry, not just learned habits. This bond rewires their brain much like a child bonds with a parent, defying everything experts once believed. Are you really your Shih Tzu's chosen one? Or has history and biology already made that choice? Inside the Forbidden City, Shih Tzus lived a life most dogs could never imagine. These small companions padded across marble floors, surrounded by silk and incense, never far from the emperor or his favored consorts. Official records from the Palace Dog Office describe how only the imperial family could own these dogs. Breeding was tightly controlled by palace eunuchs, who competed to produce the most impressive specimens, dogs with the right look, but also the right temperament. A Shih Tzu that barked too much or showed a nervous streak might quietly disappear from the royal household, replaced by another with a calmer, more attentive nature. Yet the details of how dogs were matched to specific royals remain hidden, lost to time or palace secrecy. Surviving scrolls mention rewards for eunuchs whose dogs pleased the Dowager Empress, but never spell out why one Shih Tzu was chosen for a prince and another for an empress. The breed's reputation for loyalty and discernment, so often repeated in modern marketing, is built as much on legend as on fact. Today, breeders claim to sell imperial or royal bloodline Shih Tzus, but kennel clubs warn that most of these stories lack documentation and genetic proof. What is clear is that Shih Tzus were never meant to be ordinary pets. They were bred to be alert, affectionate, and above all, in tune with the moods of those who held power. In the unpredictable world of palace politics, a dog's ability to sense the right person to trust could mean the difference between comfort and exile. This royal heritage lingers, shaping the breed's reputation for selective devotion even now. Inside a laboratory at Emory University, Dr. Gregory Burns trained dogs to lie perfectly still inside an MRI scanner. As he presented them with scent samples, one from their favorite human, others from strangers or fellow pets, he watched the monitors for a reaction. The results were unmistakable. When dogs sniffed the scent of their chosen person, their caudate nucleus, the brain's reward center, lit up with activity. This was the same region that fires in humans when we see a loved one or anticipate something wonderful. The effect wasn't subtle. In some dogs, the caudate response was stronger for their person's scent than for food. Meanwhile, in Japan, Dr. Miho Nagasawa and her team discovered something just as remarkable. When dogs and their humans gazed into each other's eyes, both experienced a spike in oxytocin, the hormone responsible for deep emotional bonding. In these studies, dogs showed up to a 130% increase, while their owners' levels soared as high as 300%. This mutual gaze creates a feedback loop, reinforcing attachment on both sides. The phenomenon doesn't appear in wolves, even those raised by humans, hinting at a unique bond shaped by thousands of years of domestication. These findings challenge the idea that a Shih Tzu's loyalty is just the result of treats or habit. Brain scans and hormone tests reveal a connection that's hardwired, not just learned. When your dog stares into your eyes or nestles close, their brain is responding in ways that mirror the deepest human relationships. For Shih Tzus, centuries of living close to people may have only sharpened this ability, making their devotion something closer to love than simple conditioning. Dogs experience the world through their noses in ways humans can barely imagine. With 300 million scent receptors packed inside a snout, a Shih Tzu can pick up the faintest chemical traces left behind on a doorknob, a pillow, or even the sleeve of a shirt. Every person gives off a unique blend of volatile organic compounds, an invisible chemical fingerprint shaped by genetics, diet, stress, and even mood. For Shih Tzus, this isn't just background information. It's the first and most important clue in deciding who matters most. Dr. Alexandra Horowitz, a leading canine cognition researcher, describes scent as the dog's primary language. In her lab, dogs consistently choose their favorite person's worn t-shirt over those of strangers, even when all other cues are removed. These experiments, repeated around the world, show dogs can identify their primary human by scent alone with over 90% accuracy. The process is so reliable that even after months apart, dogs remember and prefer the scent of their chosen person. Scent doesn't just identify, it communicates. When you're anxious, your sweat changes, and your Shih Tzu detects it instantly. They read these signals without thinking, adjusting their behavior before you say a word. This sensitivity to chemical signatures is why some people seem to become instant favorites, while others are politely ignored, no matter how many treats they offer. For a Shih Tzu, the bond begins in the nose, long before any training or reward. The invisible chemistry between you and your dog is real, measurable, and often more powerful than anything you can see. 12 subtle signs reveal where a Shih Tzu's loyalty truly lies. The first is selective attention. When several people are in the room, their eyes track just one person, reading every movement and expression. Under stress, they don't cling to whoever's closest. Instead, they cross the house to find the one who makes them feel safe, even if it means squeezing under a desk or pawing at a shut door. Their greetings, too, tell a story. The favorite gets the full celebration, spinning, yipping, and a tail that wags so hard it shakes their whole body. Shadowing is another clue. Some Shih Tzus will follow their person from room to room, content to settle in the bathroom or curl up at the foot of the bed, never letting their chosen human out of sight. Sleeping habits matter as well. If your dog always picks your side of the bed or the pile of laundry you just took off, that's more than convenience. It's a sign of attachment. Toy sharing is a mark of trust. The favorite person receives prized toys, sometimes dropped gently onto a lap as an invitation to play. During quiet times, a bonded Shih Tzu seeks out their human's company with no agenda. No food, no walk, just presence. Deep, lingering eye contact is another giveaway. A Shih Tzu that holds your gaze isn't just being cute. They're forging a connection, reinforced by mutual trust. Some signs are less obvious. Stealing your clothes, especially when you're away, is a way of keeping your scent close. If your dog subtly places themselves between you and others, or seems to sense your mood, offering comfort when you're down, these are further clues. Taken together, these behaviors form a checklist any owner can use to decode where their Shih Tzu's heart truly belongs. Not every expert agrees that Shih Tzu favoritism is magical or even healthy. Clive Wynne, a leading canine scientist, argues that what looks like deep devotion is often just learned behavior, dogs gravitating toward whoever rewards them most predictably. But when attachment goes too far, the consequences can be serious. Trainers and veterinarians report cases where Shih Tzus become fiercely protective, snapping or growling at anyone who comes near their chosen person. Some refuse to eat or drink if that person leaves the house, showing real distress. Dr. Patricia McConnell describes rehabilitation cases where resource guarding and even aggression threatened families. Her approach involves counter-conditioning, teaching the dog to associate all family members with positive experiences, gradually reducing anxiety and possessiveness. These cases remind us that while strong bonds are rewarding, they need balance and boundaries to keep everyone safe. The clearest sign of favoritism isn't found in moments of excitement, hunger, or fear, but in the quiet spaces of everyday life. When a Shih Tzu chooses to approach you during a calm, uneventful moment, no treats in hand, no need for comfort or play, that's when their true preference is revealed. Scientists describe this as voluntary engagement in a neutral state. It's not about who feeds them or who calls their name, but who they seek out when nothing is expected in return. This subtle gesture carries weight because it isn't driven by need or habit, but by genuine attachment. Earning this kind of trust is a responsibility. The bond you share shapes your dog's happiness and security. Respecting their choice means providing not just affection, but stability and care. Being the favorite isn't about winning a contest. It's about living up to the loyalty your Shih Tzu has freely given. Shih Tzus have been bred as royal companions since the Ming and Qing dynasties, with palace records documenting their role among Chinese elites. Modern science confirms that these dogs form bonds using the same oxytocin pathways as human infants, and studies show over 90% of dogs can identify their chosen person by a scent alone. Yet, concrete evidence for a single definitive test of favoritism, like the neutral state engagement test, remains unproven in peer-reviewed research. The original palace selection rituals are also only partially documented, leaving some historical details unclear. What is certain, Shih Tzus rely on a blend of ancient instincts and chemical cues to choose their person. And that attachment can be intense, sometimes even risky. Today, understanding the science and history behind these bonds helps owners respond with greater responsibility. The evidence shows that being chosen by a Shih Tzu is both rare and real, rooted in centuries of breeding and measurable biology.